Good morning, how are you?
Fine. We're here to hear a lecture. What's this going to be about?
Will Abbott's going to be talking today. I'll talk a little bit about why the Forest Society opposes the Northern Pass proposal.
I'm sure you have many reasons why you oppose it.
We do. First and foremost, the Forest Society has a legal and ethical obligation to protect existing conservation lands. Those include places like the Washburn Family Forest and the Rocks up in Bethlehem, as well as any number of conservation easements along the 180-mile stretch that the Northern Pass proposes to put more than 1,000 towers and miles of high-powered transmission line.
Well, certainly it affects private landowners also, doesn't it?
It does, and given that New Hampshire's forests, 77% are owned by private landowners. It's important to us to support those landowners who don't want to see their particular part of the New Hampshire forest land affected by this proposal.
Well, speaking as a landowner, we thank you for your efforts.
Well, we're happy to be there, and we feel like if we keep the pressure on, we can change the outcome of this proposal.
Well, thank you, Mr. Savage.
I've lived in New Hampshire for 32 years, and I have to say that with one exception, I think I've never seen a visceral public reaction to a public project like this as we have with the Northern Pass.
Good morning. My name is Mike Marino. I live in Holderness. I have one two-part question. What I would like to say is give you a little bit of the human side of this thing. My wife and I visited this state 16 years ago. We fell in love with it. We fell in love with the beauty of it and how you people operate. We built a home, our retirement home, 16 years ago. 6 years ago we retired and we moved up here. We have an outrageous view. We have a look at the White Mountains. We have a sunset every night, which we worked our entire life for. Our life savings is in that house. We were aware that at the bottom of our property there was a right-of-way. This right-of-way was put in 1930 to bring power up to the northern parts of this state. It is 225 feet wide. It has transmission lines on it, wooden poles about 40 feet. The new transmission lines are going to be at least 80 to 135 feet tall. They will tower over our trees and they will destroy our view. Our house is not saleable. It will not be saleable. Who would buy a view house with transmission towers in it? This is our inheritance that we intended to leave to our children. We will probably leave it to the bank. I don't know how many people I represent like that, but I'm sure it's in numbers near 1,000. These towers will be every 800 to 1,000 feet. They look like erector sets, and they are horrible to the view. They cut across the White Mountains, and they come across numerous people's property. Why does a corporation have to make so many billions at the expense of a number of regular people? That I don't know if there's an answer to, and I don't think they'll ever try to make us well. There is a solution. If they want to spend some of those many billions of dollars, then consider burying this cable.
Representative Baldessaro's home.
Hi, I'm Representative Al Baldessaro, and I'm the chairman of State and Federal Relations Veterans Affairs Committee. But I'm also a victim of eminent domain. If you get an opportunity and tape around my house, you'll see that the state has taken over 5 acres of my land. A half acre on each side of my house is highland that they took, which knocked me out of zoning to build a house on each side of my land. At one time, I owned almost 7 acres of land.
So how much money did they give you for this?
Well, what happened is the state came in and offered me $10,000
for all that land.
For all that land.
Did
Now,
you have a choice?
I had no choice whatsoever. I fought them for a couple of years, got a lawyer, everything, and it didn't work.
So how much did that cost you?
Well, the lawyer fees were almost $10,000, but I mean, the bottom line is the lawyer didn't do a damn thing. And
Could he have done
I did
anything?
more myself on fighting this here. But they don't care. They come in and do their appraisal, they do their land, their water testing, and then they try to undercut you on what the value is. How much money can you put on a person, his dream on why they bought their property? I bought this property to basically put 2 homes on it for my children when they grew up, and they took that away. Now keep in mind, at the time, an acre of land in Londonderry was $175,000 an acre. They stole 5, which 4 I could have maintained myself, which is being, water's being kept in here on the land because of a dam. And I have a large brook in the back of my property. But the bottom line is, anyone else involved with eminent domain through the state, they're gonna steal your land. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The state pays bottom dollar. They don't pay your top dollar or what they think, what you believe it's worth or what your dreams were, and they steal it from you. I was one of the lucky state representatives as the chairman of the State and Federal Relations, went to Canada, okay? And
That was in May you went to
I
Canada?
went to Canada in February.
With the governor?
No, I went with the Speaker of the House. There was a few Democrats. It was a nonpartisan trip. I think there was about 18 of us legislators. And we met with the electric company out there, and
You met with Hydro-Quebec?
we met with Hydro-Quebec. And matter of fact, they gave us this little folder here with items in here. They gave us a copy of the, the actual presentation they did. But I don't think they were prepared because of a lot of questions as representatives had to the Hydro-Quebec. One of the questions I asked them was, where are the jobs coming? Well, they already have their people in place to put, they said, once they eminent domain the land, the state
You mean to
does,
put towers in?
to put the towers in.
So would there be any jobs
There
in New
will
Hampshire?
be a few temporary jobs, but then they go away once the towers are up. Meanwhile, you destroy people's lives. We asked them, what happens with the disasters we have in New Hampshire and the power goes out? Well, they told us Quebec is #1 priority. New Hampshire's a low priority. Okay, now the whole methodology of what they're doing there was basically to sell peak power, because New Hampshire has a surplus of power. We don't have a problem. But they're working hand in hand with PSNH to take this land.
You mean Hydro-Quebec is working hand in hand?
Hydro-Quebec is working hand in hand with PSNH to take this land, to run through, the towers through the land, through all the land there. And which isn't right, because you're gonna shut down campgrounds. There's a golf course that's supposed to be going in, a beautiful country club type thing up in this land. I mean, why would you do that? They don't care about us. My concern here, it has nothing to do with views, anything. My concern, what they did to me on eminent domain, had to do with my dream for my children to be able to live here in Londonderry and afford to live, because Londonderry is an expensive place to live. But they stole that, pretty much, and it's a shame. And they're going to do the same thing up north. People bought that land, or they inherited it through the families for years and years and years. And you're going to run these power lines. They can't do it in Connecticut. It's illegal, okay, because of radiation or whatever comes off those lines. But yet they want to do it here in New Hampshire where kids play. Okay, they have no respect whatsoever. It's all about the almighty dollar. And I think it needs to be stopped. They need to redirect those lines to where PSNH has their towers now. The right-of-ways that PSNH has up north there should be able to be used. If not, they need to work something out with the owners of the land at fair market value. Not bring in all these duty experts that the state contracts and they turn around and undercut you on the value of your land, just like they did to me. That must be stopped. As you're aware, we try to put legislation in, which passed the House overwhelmingly, to stop the eminent domain up there. Because a few years back, the people of New Hampshire voted to protect the people's land, that you cannot take private property and turn it over to a public or private business, for taxation. That's against the law right now in our Constitution. But yet we did not fix the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, where they have that authority, and we want to take that authority away from them. So this stops here in New Hampshire. Here in Londonderry, the PSNH, somebody thought, had a future dream that eventually they would have to connect to the grid and need more power. After all the storms happened here in Londonderry, we were shut down for 14 days without power. Well, they went into a development over here in Londonderry, and they owned this land for many years. Now the bottom line is constitutionally they're protected because they own that land. Who am I to say you can't run lines through land you already own? But land you don't own, that's where I have the issue on eminent domain on trying to take it. But like I said, the project here, we were able to get them from 100 foot down to 60 foot. You know, we cut a last minute deal with them because they had to go over to Scobie Pond Lane area and put, you know, some big transfer stations there to repair the issues here in Londonderry. But like I said, we could not do anything. We went to PUC, we went to the governor don't care. You know, the governor's more, you know, concerned with the, you know, the power and them paying taxes versus the, you know, the people. So we had no luck on this project, but I'm glad for PSNH. The last minute they did make a deal with the landowners, and we worked hand in hand with them. So versus that 100 foot, 60 foot. I want you to keep in mind there when that Kelo case went on in Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Representative Bob Guider, who was the architect on that there, moved forward with eminent domain to ensure that no property in New Hampshire was ever taken and turned over to a private development. Now, of course, PSNH, the way they're working today, they think they have the power with the PUC to take anybody's land. Actually, let me rephrase, to steal anyone's land, because I'm telling you straight up, my land was stolen from me, that I could protect it myself and clean it up, where they never even show up to pick up the trash or nothing. But yet they take, like I said, 5 acres. So the bottom line is that eminent domain, which was overwhelmingly voted throughout the state of New Hampshire to support that eminent domain constitutional amendment, should carry, but there's a loophole with the PUC. Yeah, the Christian was the one that told us, oh, there's going to be many jobs, but they'll be temporary, just to put up the towers.
So that was the president of Hydro-Quebec who told you?
Yes, he's the one that told us. He's also the one that said that, you know, we're a low priority compared to Quebec is #1 priority.
So he said flat out that the U.S. is a low priority to him?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. We were all disgusted when he said that. We questioned, I mean, we really tore him up. We hit him with a lot of questions.
So did he go back on his statement, or did he stick
No,
with that?
he stuck with it. He never went back with it. Matter of fact, I heard he was replaced after that meeting because of some of the, you know, conversations we had with him. I don't know the truth of it. But, I mean, we were invited by the Canadian ambassador who's here in the U.S. that set this trip up. And I think it was a sales pitch to get us on board with the Hydro-Quebec, and we just didn't fall into it.
So it had the opposite effect.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm glad I got to go because it opened my eyes. Of course, I've been a fighter for an eminent domain, and that's why I'm here, you know, as a state rep, because I figured if I can't fight them on the outside, I'd fight them on the inside, you know, meaning government.